Friends, in today's world, we hear a lot of talk on the ongoing talks on nuclear programs between US and Iran, and also Israel trying to push US so that Iran's nuclear program can be put to a stop. So what is all this talk about? Why are we trying to curb the Iranian nuclear program? Because had started collecting nuclear oriented materials like uranium and other metals, and also was not giving any heed to the treaties that it had signed in the previous years. So before going on, you can volunteer to our NGO, the Uma Dream Foundation, which has a tagline of right to education for the underprivileged child. And also every purchase of yours on our e-commerce site Shonajuri Arts will help us garner support for these children and give a quality life to our artisans who showcase the handicraft of Bengal. So, going on ahead, what is this complete talk about this nuclear program and why is US out to curb this? There is already a joint comprehensive plan of action which was signed between Iran and some of the global powers including US on 14 July 2015 at Vienna. This was when in 2002 it came to everybody's notice that Iran, with the help of China, was having a nuclear program, creating missiles and stockpiling it, which was against the non-proliferation treaty, which everybody of us were a signatory. So in 2018, Donald Trump pulled out of the nuclear agreement between Iran and the world powers and reinstated economic sanctions, which in 2015 had been given relief to, and also at that time he gave threats of military action. But here again, Iran says the nuclear program is for civilian purposes only, but it insists that it is not trying to develop nuclear programs, but many countries as well as the global nuclear watchdog, the International Atomic Energy Agency, IAEA, are not convinced. Suspicions about Iran's intentions arose when the country was found to have secret nuclear facilities in 2002, which I was mentioning. This broke an agreement, which is the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty, which Iran and all other countries had signed. The NPT lets countries use non-military nuclear technology for medicine, agriculture and energy, but does not permit development of nuclear weapon for military wear. Iran had nuclear facilities at Bunab, Tehran, Fardo, Natan, Isfahan, Sagand, Bandar Abbas, Arak and many other such installations which came to light in 2002. And since the US pulled out of the existing nuclear deal, which also is known as the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, in 2018, Iran has breached key commitments in retaliation for decisions to reinstate sanctions. It installed thousands of advanced centrifuges, that is purification machines, to enrich uranium, which was banned by the JCPOA. Nuclear weapons require uranium which had been enriched to 90% purity. Under the JCPOA, Iran was only allowed to possess up to 300 kgs of uranium enriched to 3.67%. That is sufficient for civilian nuclear power and research purposes, but not for nuclear bombs. But by March 25, the IAEA said that Iran had about 275 kgs of uranium, which it had enriched to 60% purity. And that is enough theoretically to make about half a dozen weapons which Iran could use for various devastating purposes. So US officials said that they believe Iran could turn that nuclear into enough weapon grade material for one bomb in as little as 1 week. However, they have also said that it would take Iran about a year to 18 months to build a nuclear weapon, but then a crude device could be made, and also any kind of nuclear weapon could be dangerous. So the UN, US, and the European Union imposed extensive economic sanctions on Iran from 2010 over suspicions that its nuclear program was being used to develop a bomb. The sanctions stopped Iran from selling oil on international market and froze about $100 billion of the country's foreign asset. Its economy plunged into recession and the value of its currency fell to record lows, which in turn caused inflation to soar. In 2015, Iran and six world powers, the US, China, France, Russia, Germany, and the UK, agreed to the JCPOA after years of negotiation. As well as limiting what Iran was permitted to do with its nuclear program, it allowed the IAEA to access all of Iran's nuclear facilities and to carry out inspections of suspect sites. In return, these powers lifted the sanctions and gave relief. This comprehensive plan of action was set up to 15 years, after which the restrictions would expire. When Trump took office in 18, he removed the US, which had been a key pillar of the agreement. He said it was a bad deal because it was not permanent and it did not address Iran's ballistic missile program, amongst other things. He reimposed US sanctions as a part to maximize pressure campaign to compel Iran to negotiate a new and expanded agreement. Trump's decision was influenced by America's regional allies who were opposed to the deal, mainly Israel. Israel claimed that Iran was still pursuing a covert nuclear program and warned that Iran would use billions of dollars in sanction relief to strengthen its military activities. So, what do US and Israel want right now? So, Trump's announcement concerning talks with Iran appeared to take Israel by surprise. He had long said that he would make a better deal than the JCPOA, though up till now, Iran has rejected renegotiating the agreement. Trump and his security advisor Mike Waltz has said that Trump wants full dismantle of the Iran's nuclear program, adding that enrichment, which is as good as weaponization and can make a strategic missile program, should be dropped. Iran hopes to limit the deal but not dismantle it because it wants to be a nuclear power and also have the sanctions relief that it has been getting. Their foreign minister says that we have an honorable and fair agreement from an equal position and our program is just for civilian aid. Although Trump had said that there would be direct talks, Araghchi says that the negotiations in Oman were not direct and with only brief conversation between him and the US envoy Steve Witkoff taking place as they were leaving. So, as per both the sides, the talks were not very fruitful and that military option should not be taken unnecessarily. And after this announcement of Trump, Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said that the only acceptable deal would involve Iran agreeing to eliminate its nuclear program. And in that he meant that we go and blow up the facilities and dismantle all the equipment under American supervision and execution. Israel's biggest fear will be that Trump might accept a compromise short of Iran's complete capitulation, which could present as a diplomatic win. Israel which has not signed the NPT, is assumed to have nuclear weapons, something it neither confirms nor denies. It believes a nuclear-armed Iran, which does not accept Israel's right to exist, could pose as a substantial threat. And that is the reason why Israel wants Iran's nuclear facilities to be totally eliminated out. Now, on to the aspect of US and Israel attacking Iran. It has to be seen for times to come because both US and Israel have military capabilities to bomb Iran's nuclear infrastructure, and such an operation would be complex and risky with an uncertain outcome for the global contentment. Key nuclear sites are buried deep underground, meaning only the most powerful bunker-busting bombs could possibly reach them. While US possesses these bombs, Israel is not known to. Iran would also defend itself, which could include attacking US assets in the region and firing missiles at Israel. For an operation of this kind, the US would likely use bases in the Gulf as well as the aircraft carriers, but countries like Qatar, which hosts the biggest US air base, might not agree to help it attack Iran, fearing retaliation. So it is for times to see whether this complete deal can get through with Iran and US working out a viable solution, because Israel, which is the catalyst in this, wants a total dismantlement, while US may settle for a deal which is not agreeable to Israel because it may not be serving their purpose. And as known, all of them have nuclear capabilities. So any attack by US and Israel onto Iran's territory will create a global war scenario in that region again, which is already under turmoil with the Russia-Ukraine war going on here, Israel fighting out for its safety with Hamas and other regional countries. So let us watch what happens and keep following my channel to get regular updates on these international issues. And also you can call me on the number given below, where I can teach you how to improve your persona and you can fly like an eagle. Jai Hind.